miserable day weather-wise here in Pullman. Snow, sleet, and rain are the order of the day, so I figure why not stay inside and talk about some basketball. So, we'll get to that in just a second. I'm going to set up a poll. Alright. So, actually, you know what? Hang on. There we go. Alright. Let's talk about this. Let's take a quick look at today's schedule. Today is Friday, March 13th. Alright, we got Grizzlies, Pistons, Knicks, Pacers, Suns, Raptors, Cavs, Mavs. That's cool. Pelicans, Rockets, Wolves, Warriors, Jazz, Pelicans, Bulls, Clippers. Wow, it is a boring day. It is a boring day in the NBA. There are no good games today at all. Tomorrow we got some decent ones. Hornets, Spurs should be fun. Knicks, Lakers, Nuggets, Lakers. Big game for seeding. And same with Magic, Heat. So it's a little bit better. Hawks looking to continue their win streak, make it 10 in a row. 76ers are starting to struggle. Sunday, Wolves, Thunder, great game there. No surprise that's a Sunday game. Raptors, Pistons for seeding. Yeah, I'll tell you what, we have unfortunately a very weak slate in the next couple of days here, unfortunately. But it is what it is. So, taking a look back at the scores from yesterday real quick before we do anything else. Pistons get a big win against the 76ers. Nothing really to report there. Spurs beat the Pacers. Again, nothing there. Orlando continues their win. They got a scare from the Wizards, though, so that's a bit of a surprise with how well the Washington Wizards played. Took that game to overtime. Hawks continue their win streak. The Atlanta Hawks. Ever since they got Jonathan Kuminga, they've got Jalen Johnson. It's a very dangerous team. Said by R9W, you're from Pakistan? Oh, that's cool. Welcome into the chat. Heat take down the Bucks. I liked what the Bucks social media team put after that game. They said, Bam Adebayo did not score 83 points. They lost the game, so it doesn't really matter. But I thought that was a fun little nod from the Milwaukee Bucks social media team. Hey, we got 20 people in here. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Let's see. Hawks, 1 vote for them, 1 vote for the Thunder. That's no surprise. Why nobody in your life? I don't know. I'm not a huge channel or anything, but, just do this for fun. No other reason. I just have a good time. Have some opinions and I like to share them. That's the only reason I'm here. Celtics beat the Thunder, go down in OKC. That was a big game. Thunder lead at the beginning of down at the beginning of the fourth quarter. They're able to come back. Shea is able to outduel Jaylen Brown. And it's just a huge win for that team. And then the Lakers beat the Bulls. No surprise there. Game was quite a bit closer though than I figured. Luka Doncic needs to drop 51 to get the win in that one. So that's a bit of a surprise. The Lakers were challenged that much by the Bulls. Like I said, nothing hugely important today. Obviously, Suns Raptors, good interconference battle, or interconference battle. And then that's really it. Other than just where are you from? I'm a Seattleite, but I go to currently living in Pullman, Washington. I'm a student at Washington State University. Yeah, the weekend slate very weak, unfortunately. Spurs Hornets. As a Hornets fan myself, that's going to be a great game. Hoping to pick up a huge win against I would say is the best. What I would say on paper is the best team in the NBA. And then really nothing much on Sunday. Wolves Thunder should be a good game. But outside of that, Pistons Raptors. Pretty weak weekend slate. But let's take a look at the standings since we last did this. You can check this. I'm trying to remember when my last stream was. I can tell you guys. That was on the 7th. So that was a while ago. That was early in the week. So a lot has changed. particularly in the bottom part of the Eastern playoff standings. Because last time we talked, it was Toronto at the 5. Hey, Grant. Welcome in. How's it going? Good to see you. Because the hottest team in the NBA, that's the debate we're having. But, I mean, Atlanta has come up. Orlando has come up. Miami's come up. Philadelphia, something is wrong with them, as well as Toronto is falling apart. I really don't know what's happened to the Toronto Raptors or the 76ers, but they're down at the 7 seed and the 9 seed, respectively. Philadelphia is in danger of dropping all the way to the 10. Something's off with them. Actually, let's go a little bit deeper into this. All right, we're getting some more votes. All right, it looks like Atlanta is going to win this poll. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Atlanta's going for 10 in a row. I don't remember who they play next. I want to say it's Milwaukee. Yes, it is. They play Milwaukee tomorrow at noon. That should be a good game. Yeah, but looking at the 76ers, yeah, their last couple games, you get a 3-game win streak, Minnesota, Indiana, Miami. Then it turns to the month of March. Back-to-back losses to the Spurs and the Celtics. Tough back-to-back. They get a win against the Jazz. Then they drop a game to Atlanta, lose to Cleveland. Those are games that where you are, you have to win those. If you're in that 7 to 10 range or that 5 to 10 range, you have to beat the teams around you. That's Atlanta. That's Cleveland. That's a team like Charlotte, who I don't think they play again this year. No, they do. They play them at the end of the month. That'll be a big one. They do get a little bit of respite coming up. They have Brooklyn, Portland, Sacramento, and Utah as part of their next 5. They also have Denver at Denver, so I'm not saying it's easy, but certainly a little bit of a reprieve. They also beat Memphis in that in their last couple games. But yeah, they don't end the season. They end the season mixed. They have some easy games: Milwaukee, Indiana, Washington, Chicago, Sacramento, Utah, Brooklyn, Portland. They all play once. But you also got Detroit again. You got San Antonio, Minnesota. They have Minnesota, Detroit, San Antonio back to back to back. That's going to be very tough. Charlotte's going to play them very tough. I tend to overhype the Hornets a little bit. I'm a Hornets fan, but I think the Hornets are going to play them tough. And then looking at Toronto. Toronto, I would argue, has been worse because they have had some very questionable games recently. Because I mean, if you look, they got a huge win streak to start off the year. They were 14-5. They settled back into just about being 500. But if you look at their last 10, you lose to Minnesota. Okay, no harm there. But you beat Chicago, beat Indiana. All right, taking care of business. Drop a game to Detroit again. You lose. They're losing the games that they're expected to lose until Wednesday when you drop a game to the New Orleans Pelicans, which just can't happen. But again, their schedule also does get a little easier. Phoenix, Detroit's tough, but Phoenix twice, Chicago, and in their next. So they should go 3 and they really need to go 3-2 in their next 5 because Phoenix twice, pick up one of those or both of them, beat Chicago, and they got Detroit and Denver, which I don't think you're winning any of those. Then you got Utah, you play New Orleans again, you got Sacramento, you got Memphis. Very last bit of the schedule is tough. Boston, back-to-back versus Miami. Then Brooklyn. Then New York. Then you get a bit of a end of the season respite against Brooklyn. You could be in a bad spot there. I don't believe they have any huge injuries. I know Scotty Barnes is day-to-day, but I think he's coming back. So I wouldn't say that is playing a big factor. And then I think that really essentially in the East, the playoffs teams, play-in teams, have been solidified. The 10 that we have right now are going to be the 10. Milwaukee's not going on a run. Chicago's not going on a run, and everybody else is already out. But the thing we're going back to Philadelphia just for a second. Negative point differential. If I'm being honest, does not surprise me at all that they have a negative point differential. Let's talk about the West. We've talked about the East now for a couple minutes, and I actually am on a relatively strict time limit today. My roommate's going to be back any minute, and when he comes back, I'm unfortunately going to have to go. But let's talk about the West real quick before that happens. So, Oklahoma City, top of the West. I keep saying that the San Antonio Spurs are going to get up there and they're going to pass them. Every time, though, it just seems that as soon as San Antonio closes in, San Antonio drops a couple games, OKC goes on a tear, keeps them in front. So I'm starting to doubt what I said earlier. I still hold to it, though. I still think that San Antonio is going to end up at the top of the West. Lakers have jumped. And the main reason they've jumped is Minnesota's in trouble. They've dropped 3 in a row. I need to check games too. But yeah, that 3, 4, 5, 6. LA, Houston, Denver, Minnesota. That's going to be a super tight race towards the end of this year. Phoenix has gotten a bit better. The Clippers, by the way, have come out of basically. They've come out of nowhere. Clippers are now up to the 8th. They passed the Golden State Warriors. Golden State is. Yeah, let's take a look at the Warriors real quick because this is kind of just sad to watch, honestly, from Golden State. Yeah, ever since the trade deadline, they have just not looked like themselves. You go back to if you just take since the beginning of February, you lose to the Sixers, you beat Phoenix, you lose to LA, beat Memphis just barely, lose back-to-back, San Antonio, Boston, no surprise there. You beat Denver, you beat Denver, great win. All right, are we going to get back on track? No, you lose to the Pelicans. Then you beat Memphis again, lose to LA, the other LA team. Just sneak past Houston in overtime, but then you got dropped 3 straight, including 2 very ugly losses. First to the Utah Jazz, then to the Bulls. I know they're injured, but I think this is a scary reminder or a scary premonition of what this team is going to look like. Cairo Santos, Melton, and Podziemski as your top 3 leading scorers. Alexander Molina, welcome into the stream. How are you doing today? Yeah, just really not what you want to see if you're a Warriors fan. It's not going to get too much easier either. Minnesota, New York, next 2 games. Washington, then you got Boston, Detroit, Atlanta. I think they're going 1-6, if that. I could even see Washington beating them if I'm being super honest. Dallas, yeah, this Golden State team's falling apart. I think they're done. I mean, Curry's out another 10 days, according to Shams. That was a couple days ago, so he's done. I would be very surprised if they don't shut him down for the year in a couple days here. I just don't see any reason to play him. I don't think they're gonna follow the plan, but I mean, yeah, no, they're not. They're 9 games up on Memphis. They're not. They're gonna fall to the 10 seed, I believe. I think Portland's gonna be able to get in front of them, but yeah, I just don't see it from Golden State. Now they're below 500. Just not there yet. And then, quick look at the 4 eliminated teams: Brooklyn, Washington, Indiana, Sacramento. Sacramento's been playing decent. I think they want to be a little bit more respectable, but I'll tell you what, oh my gosh, the Pacers and Wizards, both on 10-game losing, actually 10 plus. Wizards lost 10 in a row. Pacers have lost 11 in a row. Yeah, I mean, Indiana, what a fall. I really hope for their sake that they can get back to their winning ways next year, because I mean, I just feel so bad for the fans of the Indiana Pacers. They've just all time Indiana. They've come so close so many times. Reggie Miller in the 90s, they finally break through. They run into Shaq and Kobe. They get another chance. It looks like they're going to get redemption. Then obviously they run into the Malice at the Palace. They rebuild from that. Paul George has some good teams, but they can never break through. They finally get back to the finals. And then Halliburton tears his ACL and the entire team, or his Achilles. I don't remember which one it was. And the entire team just falls apart. And now they're the worst team in the NBA. It's just an awful feeling. And I really hope that they can get back on track and get back to being the fantastic team that they were last year. And I think they can. But we will have to see. Any other big stories? Yes, there is. There is another big story, and that is Shea. He broke... I mean, anytime you break a Wilt Chamberlain record, you know you're doing something impressive. He breaks a record, I believe, that it was, 127 straight 20-point games, which is crazy. I mean, you got to think he's the MVP frontrunner now, and actually that's something I wanted to talk about, is what happens with the MVP race, because obviously the big concern now is if you miss time at the moment, there's very little bigger room for a couple of these guys. But yeah, it's just incredibly impressive. Last time that Shea Gilgeous-Alexander did not score 20 points was the 1st of November, 2024. I'm just going to take a little side tangent here, and I want to figure out November of 2024. What video would I have released then? Was that like? Yeah, okay, that was when I was doing some stuff on MLB The Show. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Wow. Yeah, I mean, for me anyway, that puts it into context. For you guys, that doesn't mean anything. If you want to check out some of my other videos, feel free to. I won't say they're the highest quality, especially my old ones, but I've been getting better on that, I think. Let's talk about standings. Let's see where I have the standings going. Then I have to head out, unfortunately. Let's take a look at what we got. All right, so I see Detroit. Boston got close, but Boston's now dropped 2 in a row. I said on my stream earlier this week that I was like, is Boston going to catch them? I don't think that's happening. So I think Detroit's solidly at the 1. Boston, New York. I don't see the top 3 moving at all. Then you got the Cavs. I think I said the top 3. Really, the top 4. I think in the East is all going to stay the same. Orlando, Miami could be either way. Toronto, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Charlotte, all within 4 games of each other. We're predicting that's going to be really tough, and actually, I'm not going to. It's just too tough. If I had to say how it pans out, I would guess Orlando, Miami, Charlotte, Atlanta, Toronto, Philadelphia. If I had to guess, just based on how things are trending right now, we'll have to see. If I had to pick the plan, that would be Charlotte at the 7, Atlanta at the 8, Toronto at the 9, Philadelphia at the 10. Give me Philadelphia over Toronto. Give me Charlotte over Atlanta. Atlanta over Philadelphia. So Detroit, Atlanta. Give me Detroit. That would be Boston, Charlotte. I'm going to have to take Boston in that series. That should be a good series. That would be then Miami, New York. Another matchup of Heat Knicks. One of the best rivalries in the NBA, which I'm going to take New York, and then I leave Orlando, Cleveland. And I think I would in that one. I'm going to have to take. Could Orlando upset them? I think they could. I don't think they're going to, though. Give me Cleveland. So that's top 4 all advanced from the East. Give me New York over Boston, Detroit over Cleveland. So that's a New York, Detroit Eastern Conference Finals. Give me the Pistons in that one. Then out West, I'm just going to keep the playoffs as chalk as they are. So that's Thunder, Spurs, Lakers, Rockets, Nuggets, Timberwolves, and then Suns and Clippers out of the play-in. Give me OKC over LA. Give me San Antonio over Phoenix. Give me Minnesota over LA. And give me Denver over Houston. That sets up Denver, Minnesota. No, that sets up OKC, Minnesota, Denver, San Antonio. Yes. Give me San Antonio over Denver. I think Minnesota. I could see Minnesota upsetting Oklahoma City. Yeah, actually, I'm going to say they do. Yes, up San Antonio, Minnesota, Western Conference Finals. Give me San Antonio, and I'm going to take San Antonio over Detroit. San Antonio, Detroit has been my finals prediction on every single stream of these that we've done. I don't think that it's going to change, so I think that's just. I think honestly either Thunder, one of the Thunder, the Spurs, the Nuggets, the Pistons, the Celtics, or the Knicks, in my opinion, is going to win the finals. One of those 6 teams. I keep saying it's going to be Spurs, Pistons. I still hold to it. I'm planning on doing a lot of these streams where I just give my thoughts, and I'm going to do a lot of these during the postseason. So if you want to hop on these streams, please do. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you feel like it. I'm not one of those that pushes that all that much. So you don't have to if you don't want to. Alright, I think with that, we've been going for almost 20 minutes. I think I'll stay on for a little bit longer here. Talked about Shea, talked about the Eastern Conference, talked about the Western Conference, talked about MVP. Oh, here's the other team I wanted to highlight. I wanted to highlight really the entire Southeast Division, because this division, outside of Washington, obviously, is red hot. No, my name is not Jack. My name is Charles. Yeah, so, Orlando, 6-game win streak, 8-2 in their last 10. Miami won 7 in a row, also 8-2 in their last 10. Atlanta 8 in a row, 9-1. Charlotte 8-2, 10 in a row. Thank you for the question, by the way. I appreciate you throwing a question down in chat. Wow, the Southeast Division right now is crazy. If I had to pick a winner, I'm gonna say Orlando. I think they've just been playing some really good basketball. Actually, if we take a look at these two teams, obviously Miami's playing great. Bam Adebayo dropping. Oh, that's something I have to talk about. Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo is something I haven't. How could I have gone this long? How could I have gone this long in the stream without mentioning Bam Adebayo dropping 83? What's up with the Rockets? Actually, I can talk about that in just a second. But look at, I'm going to Philip Martin. I will get to the Rockets in just a second. Actually, that was the other team I wanted to mention. But real quick, taking a look at the Miami Heat. They take down Houston by 5. They beat up on Brooklyn twice in a row. Take down a red-hot Charlotte team. Then you got Detroit. Great win there. They beat them by 11. Take down Washington. Blow them out. Bam Adebayo drops 83. Take down Milwaukee. Huge game against Orlando. And a big game against Charlotte. As well as, I'll tell you what. Next 7 for Miami is tough. Orlando, Charlotte, LA, Houston, San Antonio, Cleveland back-to-back. If they go 5-2, ooh, yeah, they're going to be dangerous. Let's talk about the Rockets. So I can address something that confuses me. Because I said when the Kevin Durant trade happened, I have a video on my channel up about that. I did not like the Kevin Durant trade. Now, for this year, yes, I think it's a good idea. But I think with the way the West is set up right now, with Minnesota, with LA now they have Luka, and particularly with the Spurs and Heat, you need a long window. You need a lot of chances to chip away at these teams. And shortening your window for 1 year, I just don't think it's worth it. Particularly, look at how well Dillon Brooks has been playing in Phoenix. I just don't really think it was worth it for Houston, because then, hey, if you shorten your window, you can't have injuries. Fred VanVleet gets injured before the season even starts. So even right then and there, you're already in trouble. But let's take a look at their recent games. Alperen Sengun day-to-day, I think they're going to get him back pretty soon. You lose to Miami, just taking a look at their last couple. They're playing 500 basketball really at the moment. Yeah, you missed Jalen. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big Rockets guy. I'm mainly a Spurs, Hornets, and Blazers guy. But yeah, I'll root for Houston every now and then. I'm not a huge Kevin Durant guy, to be honest. I know he started his career in Seattle. I just was never really a fan of him. But yeah, so lose to Miami, beat Washington. No real big deal there. Lose to Golden State in overtime. That was a bad loss. A game they really should have won. Beat Portland. Good job there. Get smashed by 25 by San Antonio. That game was going on when I was doing my last stream. I believe that was the game. I think that the Spurs had like 5 players and scoring 20. Yeah, did I say Hornets? Yes, I am a Hornets fan. Actually, let me grab my Hornets jersey if I can find it. No, it's not the Brandon Miller jersey. There we go. Found it. Yeah, there we go. I'm on. You said you're a Thunder fan, by the way. You're welcome for Shea. I guess you can thank the Clippers for that too. But yeah, just looking at Houston. Good response, taking down Toronto. Again, lose to Denver. Game you really need to win. That's a battle proceeding. And I'll tell you what, the big test for how this Rocket season is going to go is coming up. They have back-to-back games against the Los Angeles Lakers. I think if you go 0-2, you're in trouble. 1-1. You got Trey Mance to call it even? Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, this Houston team has a couple of tests. You got 4 games, the 16th, the 18th, the 20th, and the 21st. You got back-to-backs versus LA at home, versus Atlanta, versus Miami. 4-game homestand. That's big. Like I was mentioning earlier, actually, I'm going to talk about this again. Just with how tight the bottom part of the playoff spots are, not playoff, in the West is those 4 teams. It's Denver, it's LA, it's Houston, and it's Denver. That's big. Those are going to decide some playoff matchups. I mean, all of those teams are within a game of each other. LA at 41 and 25. They've been playing better recently, but I don't hugely trust the Lakers. And I'm never. Part of it is I just don't like the Lakers, but also so I can admit some personal bias there. The Lakers just ever since I just find them hard to trust. Ever since around 21, 20, 22. I don't really trust Houston either, to be honest. I do trust Denver. I think Nikola Jokic can really drag a team, and he has a good supporting cast. Minnesota can be shaky at times, but again, I think I have more trust in them than I do in either LA or Houston. Although they have lost in a row. Let me check who they lost to, because that'll determine how worried I am. Orlando, LA, LA. Okay, that's... Yeah, it's not great. Orlando's really red hot. Lakers are playing good. And the Clippers are just on fire. Although, admittedly, I didn't realize that they lost 153 to 128. Yeah, that's not great. Even in a game that Anthony Edwards gives you 36 points. Yeah, wow. Okay, that is not good. But I think the other thing I wanted to talk about is Phoenix. The Phoenix Suns are an interesting team because, I mean, if you look at where they are, they've been playing some good basketball outside of a very weird loss to Chicago. But you got Devin Booker back. Devin Booker, by the way, fantastic basketball since he's come back. Drops 27 in the loss to the Bulls, 32 against the Pelicans, 30 against Charlotte. Was a huge reason they won that game. 27 against the Bucks and drops 43 on Indiana. Again, huge. I keep bringing up some big stands that are coming up. Big 4-game trip. Big 4-game trip for the Phoenix Suns at Toronto, at Boston, at Minnesota, at San Antonio. That's huge. And it's going to determine, a lot of things. They need to move on. Who needs to move on? You think they need to move on unless he's just playing for the contract? Who are we talking about? Booker? Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I do agree. I do think Devin Booker is going to really has to go elsewhere. The only question I wonder is, what's his trade value at this point? I think you could get a decent haul for him, but the question is, where does he fit all that well? I mean, around the league, there's no real great spot to fit him in. I mean, you got to look at a team that's a team that he wants to go to. I imagine that would fit him. I mean, Milwaukee, I guess, but it doesn't sound like a great fit. Yeah, I'm struggling to think of great places for him to go. Warriors, yeah, actually, I could see that. I could see him going to Golden State. Again, the question is, would he want to go to Golden State? And even bigger question, I think, than that is, how does Golden State have the assets? Let's real quick. You know what? Actually, thank you for your this kind of tangent here. Let's see. What would a Booker to Golden State trade look like? Because I want to see what does Phoenix doesn't really need anything necessarily from. I mean, they want draft picks, obviously, but Phoenix is in a weird spot. It's really kind of hard to tell where they're going. But let's take a look at what are the assets that Golden State has. Okay, they have more picks than I thought they did. I thought they have all their picks. I mean, so what do you give up? 26 first, 28 first, and let's look at their roster and Podziemski? Is that a good? Is 2 first-round picks in Podziemski? Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. You know what surprised me that Devin Booker is the franchise leading scorer for the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, I don't think he's leaving. I think he's happy with where he is. Obviously, I think he wants to win a title, but I think he's just going to try to trust Phoenix to give him an opportunity to do that. Whether they will or not remains to be determined. I kind of doubt that they will, but yeah, I think I miss the era where it was just one guy would be on one team. I think that's changed at least pretty recently. Obviously I think Steph Curry is going to end up doing that, But if you look at all the stars in the league, I think Jokic is probably gonna stay as a one-team guy. I think that Anthony Edwards probably will as well. But if you look at everybody else, Giannis probably not. If you look, I mean, Donovan Mitchell already isn't. Jalen Brunson already isn't. I think Tatum and Brown are probably staying. Wembanyama probably will stay. And then you look at the really young guys. I don't think Cooper Flagg is going to stay in Dallas forever. I just don't think Dallas is going to be the right place for him. I think Con Knippel's staying in Charlotte. At least I hope he is. I think that would be a good position for him. Speaking of which, he's talking about going home to Atlanta. Oh, wow, that would be if the Hawks find a way to pull that. I'll tell you what, Atlanta's starting to look like a decent destination. They could definitely be. They could definitely build something. I'll tell you what. I would actually really at this point, that Southeast Division, which the last couple years has looked atrocious. I think they could do it. Yes, the Atlanta Hawks. Yes, the Atlanta Hawks. They're going for 10 in a row. 10 straight wins. If I'm not mistaken, it was Toronto. I was going to say, did the Atlanta Hawks not already do that? But no, they didn't. That was the Raptors at the very beginning of the year. I think they were up to the first seed in the... No, it was the Pistons. They got up to the second seed in the East for a while. They need AJ or Peterson. Well, I don't think they're getting that. Do the Hawks have any picks from anyone? I don't think they do. I don't think they do, but I could be wrong. Let's see. They got okay. Oh, actually, no, they have a really good pick. Atlanta will receive the more favorable of Milwaukee's and New Orleans. How on earth did they get... When did they get... Where's that Pelicans pick from? How did they get that? Oh, that was the Derek Queen. That was the draft day trade. Wow, the Pelicans are stupid. Wow, yikes. Oh man. New Orleans. I thought DeJounte Murray too, but no, it's the draft day trade for Derek Queen. Yeah, Derek Queen for Asa Newell in a 2026. Yeah, that's an awful trade. If they get Peterson or Dabonsta, or if they end up Boozer, man, that's a bad trade. I'll tell you what, the Hawks also very much won the trade for Kristaps Porzingis. That Kristaps trade is looking really great for the Atlanta Hawks. You get him for really not much from the. Did they even trade him? Did they even trade for him? Did they? Yeah, they get AJ and actually keep him. Yeah, well, I can't imagine they'd trade him. He was traded to Atlanta. What did Atlanta give up? Because I want to see just how good this was. Okay, they gave up Niang, a second-round pick. Yeah, they gave up nothing. Yeah, he's played like 5 games, and he hasn't looked good. And in exchange for basically nothing, they end up with... They got, who did they get out of that trade? I can never remember his name. He's from Golden State. Jonathan Kuminga. They got Kuminga and Hield. That's a fleece of a trade. Yeah, and, obviously as a Charlotte fan, that makes me mad. Because, of course, as soon as we get good, our entire division figures out how to play. Because Orlando's been red hot. We talked about Miami a little bit ago, but Orlando. I want to see who's leading this Orlando turnaround. Let's take a look here. Because I have not paid attention to the Magic in a while. Looks like the Hawks are still ahead in the poll. Very balanced between the other 3 teams. I think Atlanta is the correct answer there. I just wanted to see what the kind of the mood around. We do have a good young core. First time in a while that I'm actually excited to watch Hornets games. And I'm not filled with depression whenever I see that we're playing. All right, let's see. France, I know. Franz Wagner's still out. Let's take a look at their recent games. I'm gonna ignore the Wizards game, but let's take a look. I clicked on the Cavs accidentally. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, Desmond Bane drops 35. Wendell Carter had a good game as well. Stick with this Milwaukee game. It looks like very balanced team. Banchero and Desmond Bane. You got Jalen Suggs. This looks like it's a very balanced team. It's weird because this Magic team, people keep saying they're a disappointment. Who do the Wizards play? Let's see. Who do the Wizards play next? Let's take a look. I don't think it's someone very good. The Washington Wizards. Oh, yeah, because the ESPN overlay decides to just stay on my screen and not go away. Okay. Do they not play until Sunday? I guess they don't. Or do they not? They don't play until Monday? Where are the Wizards? Wait, I've lost. Oh, they play Detroit. Oh boy. They got a young core in Detroit, so just not putting. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I will say I don't think the Wizards roster is awful. I really don't. I like on paper and you just kind of in theory. Cade might drop 90. Yeah, he might. I mean, Carrington, Champagny, Koulibaly, George. That's a good building block. You also got Sarr. And then, yeah, you surround him with Whitmore, Trae Young, D'Angelo Russell, and Anthony Davis is your vet core. They're going to be good next year. Although, if Trae gets hurt, if Anthony Davis gets hurt, I don't see them doing much. And they got their pick. Yes, they did. Yes, they do. Because they are going to have a very good pick this year. Because they are very bad. 16-49. Well, there was a draft to be good in. It was last year's, but this year's ain't half bad either. Well, we will have to see. I think with that, I think even if Trae's hurt, he's just chilling. Oh, you don't even know if he's hurt. He might just be chilling. He might just be chilling. Yeah, and so Anthony Davis is he's hurt. He's not gonna play the rest of this year. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for me. I think I'm gonna go. I got some stuff to do. So I think with that, I'm going to head out. If you guys have enjoyed the stream, why not throw a subscription onto this channel? You know, we have fun here. If you want to pop in another stream, like it, subscribe on notifications if you want to. I'm not going to push that much. But anyway, it's been fun. Appreciate particularly Beast Synth and William Mallon for throwing in your comments. This has made this stream a whole lot more fun than it would ordinarily be. You know, no one wants to just hear me yap about stuff. So, bouncing questions off. It's great. Appreciate you guys for being here. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. And, of course, see you next time.